Everybody, thanks for watching. Now, it's crazy for people to say that racism doesn't exist. A lot of people are looking at the situation that has been going on and saying that black people are just claiming racism because white people are basically pointing out what they see from the black community. Now, all you have to do is go to the YouTube comment section and look at certain videos, and you can see that racism is clear and well and alive. You know, today in 2017, about to be 2018, racism clearly still exists, and it is promoted, and it is shown throughout the media every single day. We see it all the time. So, you know, we can point out racism, you know, period. The simple fact that we have a KKK and neo-Nazi groups and people who have this ideology, who believe the stereotypes of typical black people are true, that we all kill each other, we murder each other, we all sell drugs or what have you. These are people who want to believe the racist narrative that has been pushed from mainstream media. Racism is alive and well. It exists. We all know this. Anybody who is being true to themselves and real with themselves can see clearly that people are still racist. We understand this. You go to the South, we see it. We have seen so many videos of people shouting racial slurs, of people screaming at black people negatively, calling black people derogatory names. And a lot of the claims from a lot of these people are them just, you know, voicing their opinion about black people in general. Now, when you say that, you know, black on black crime, black people kill black people steal, black people sell drugs, this is a broad statement that we get from a lot of white people, implying that all black people do these things. Everybody steals. Everybody commits murder. These are crimes we see from every race of people across the world. These people go to the statistics all the time, and they say that, well, statistics show that 95% of black people that are killed by other black people. And what does this have to do with the murder of unarmed black people, of innocent people? What does statistics have to do with that fact? What does some dude killing another dude in another state have to do with the innocent black person being killed in another state? How do you make that connection? Now, when we point to the statistic that show that 71% of police murder in America are murdered by white men, this is a statistic that they want to ignore. It's ignored, it's brushed off. And a lot of people just revert back to, well, what about black on black crime? What about the crime in the black community? Now, people are just using this whole statistics crap to justify their racism, period. A lot of people don't care about the truth and the facts. They want something to justify them having hateful thoughts against black people. They want to justify their racism. And this is why they turn to these stats that they cannot prove are true. Everybody looks to the news and say whatever the news say has to be true because the news said it. It's bullshit. You have people speaking out against unarmed people being killed, against innocent people being killed, innocent kids, teenagers. I don't agree, as I have said before, I don't agree with the whole Black Lives Matter slogan because it creates separation. The same separation we've seen today is creating division, because all you're going to have is white people say, well, what about white people being killed more than black people? We are being killed too. White lives matter as well. And the whole thing is, yeah, you people have been killed by cops, but where have you been? Why haven't you been protesting, marching about so many white people being killed by cops, wrongfully so, if all the cases was wrongfully so? We have been protesting against police brutality in America for decades. Decades. Where have you been? We see on the media black people being beaten by cops, dogs sicked on black people, hoses, black people being shot to death. You had absolutely no clue that more white people was being killed by cops than black people until they created this stat so that you be in opposition to black people protesting against black people being killed by cops. Plain and simple. You had absolutely no clue about this stat and that it existed, or else you would be protesting. How convenient this stat starts to come out and starts to surface at the same time black people are protesting against black people being killed. Because if Black Lives Matter didn't exist and they kept bombarding the media If the whole circulation of this stat of white people being killed more than black people was put out there first, before Black Lives Matter, you would see an uproar of white people protesting against them being killed by cops. Has the news media been bombarding the airways, bombarding people with stories of white cops or black cops killing white people? Has it been an epidemic? Has there been a whole huge topic that we have been, flooded with of stories of innocent white people being killed by cops? No. We have only seen stories of black people being killed by white cops. So how the hell could you be mad that black people are protesting against them being killed by cops when this is all we have been seeing? This is all they have been showing. It's crazy. So even when you have black people saying Black Lives Matter, it's justified because this is what we're seeing. So you can understand how we was baited, how this whole thing is a trap, and how we was baited into this whole line of protesting so that we have a whole opposition, a whole people in opposition to people saying that our lives matter. So now you have the All Lives Matter slogan coming, being in opposition to Black Lives Matter, so people can argue and spew their hate and racism. It's a setup. It was a setup from the start. How convenient the slogan is speaking to black people, and we have been seeing only black people slaughtered on TV. Kids' bodies laying in the street. Teenagers shot by cops. And we're not supposed to protest about that. It's ridiculous. So even when Kelly Thomas was beaten to death by cops, black people was there to support his family. Black people was there to protest. Black people was there to say Black Lives Matter, all lives matter as well. Of course, we agree that all lives matter. So this whole opposition, as I said before, to Black Lives Matter, to black people speaking out against police brutality, is racist people ranting and raving about themselves being racist. I don't want to deal with these people. Plain and simple. There's no need to even engage these people because they don't want to hear the truth. They don't care about it. Decades we have been seeing police brutality, screaming out about it, and people have ignored us. Now when the media finally puts the whole light, the cameras at us when we are protesting this stuff and put it out there, because we have social media now all of a sudden it's a problem. How can anybody be in opposition of a person saying stop killing innocent people? It's crazy. It makes you wonder if we was protesting stop killing white people, how much support we would get. So as I said, people are using the whole black people killing black people crap as a cop-out for their racism, plain and simple, because we have been seeing the same type of racism for decades in America. Long before it was black on black crime, long before it was a crack epidemic, long before hip hop, long before mainstream media was destroying our image, we have been seeing racism towards black people. So what's the excuse? How is that any different today than back then? When we were seeing the same type of racism from white people, despite all the so-called black on black crime. It's a cop-out, it's bullshit. So when these people say, what about black on black crime? They are implying that why are we not protesting when black people kill black people? Why are we not marching when black people kill black people? Why is it not mainstream news media when black people kill black people? And that's because you don't live in a black community. You don't live in a black neighborhood, so you don't know what goes on in a black community. You don't understand that anything that black people do that shows them in a different light other than what mainstream media wants you to think about us, it will not be broadcast. You have continuous marches in the black community about black on black crime. It's not broadcast, only on local TV in that state or in that city, or not at all, mostly not at all. There are always marches about black on black crime in the black community. There are always protests about black on black crime in the black community. There are community centers geared towards stopping black on black crime in the black community. It's not so much black on black crime, it's poverty, period. It doesn't matter what color you are. If poverty exists, there will be crime. So poverty is what we should be against, not black people. That's easy to see. Now, I know for a fact in Philadelphia, we have every single year, we have picnics, a Stop the Violence, Increase the Peace picnic. I know my best friend, his aunt's a cop. She is one of the people who organized it every year in Philadelphia. They have it in many different places, in many cities, so-called inner cities, where they have a lot of things geared towards stopping violence in the black community. No matter how many picnics we throw, no matter how many protests we have or marches we have, this is an economic problem that is not going to be fixed unless something be done by people that's in higher positions than black people. So when we march and we protest to this government system saying, hey, you have the power to do something to fix the economic problem in the black community, and nothing is done, what do you expect to happen? So a lot of people don't understand this because they don't live in the black community. They don't understand the economics, and they don't want to understand what's going on. They only see what they have been programmed to see. And this is what we're talking about. So when you have a Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, when you have people taking a knee and protesting and putting up a fist and just speaking out against what we have been seeing, this is what we are talking about. Point to me and show me the opposition to white power from black people in America. What is going on? It don't exist. You have a KKK, neo-Nazis, just racist people. You have these same people in positions of power who are police officers, judges, politicians who exist and who create laws and do things to hinder black people and to stop black people from any kind of progress. But we are not supposed to protest about this stuff. This is something that a lot of black people talked about. And you have to understand that a lot of black people are almost hostages in their own community. A lot of black people will love to stop the drug dealing and the violence in the black community. A lot of white people, because you do not live there and understand what goes on there, you don't understand how it's dangerous and how stuff really is. Because while you want to do the right thing for your neighborhood, it doesn't matter when you have people that'll kill you if you speak out. And if you watch First 48, you see there's a lot of people who speak out. Most of those dudes get caught because they get snitched on. Believe it or not, it's a lot of people in jail because they've been snitched on. So don't try to make it like, oh, black people, y'all have this code and we just not telling on each other. Bullshit. There's a lot of people telling. There's a lot of black people putting other black people in jail behind the shit that they doing. That's a fact. But it's not going to be put out there. The negative part is going to be put out there, and it's not going to be shown that black people are behind solving a lot of these cases in the black community that detectives would be stuck on or would just push under the table because they don't give a shit. There's a lot of black people who have solved cases by picking up the phone. It's a fact. You'll call them snitches or what have you. But this has been done, and you have seen this, but it's not going to get recognized. People are only going to want to believe what they want to believe. And when you have the news media who basically puts out the information to the masses of people, pushing this narrative, what do you expect people to take in? They're taking in only the negative, none of the positive about black people and what really goes on in the black community. You have to look at this system and point to the system and understand where it has flaws, where people are divided and people are divided into classes, you know, wealthy and rich and middle class and what have you. We all know about this. But if you don't understand what real poverty is, and when you also have a system that's hindering you from moving up economically, then you're not going to see why it's a problem in the black community. And don't sit there and say that that's all bullshit and this stuff is not happening when you done had so many politicians stand before the Senate, stand before Congress, have a lot of meetings, have a lot of speeches about what this government has done to hinder the black community. And I pointed this out with the whole video on Elizabeth Warren, the whole speech she gave about exactly that, about how laws was created to hinder black people. So don't make it like we just being lazy and not trying to move up, when historically the system has put things in our way to make sure that we can't move up. It's crazy. And if you don't look for this stuff, if you only believe in what the mainstream media is putting out there for you to take in, of course you're going to be racist. Of course you're not going to like black people. Like I said before, if I only believe in seeing or got my information about black people from mainstream media, I would probably be racist too if I was white. I would hate them because I look and see how they portray us. And then when you look and see how hip hop music backs all this stuff up and how the whole hip hop culture backs this stuff up and make it look as if we don't give a shit about our people, then of course people look at us as whatever. Yeah, we enjoy the culture, we enjoy having fun with this stuff, but deep down we think you are nothing. You are animals, savages, violent, dangerous people. So we got to pay attention to who controls this stuff, and it's not black people. As I said before, we don't control the hip hop industry. We don't control the FCC, who regulates what we see and hear. We don't control this stuff. So the stuff that you really disagree with black people about, or what you hate black people for, was given to you by your own government, was pushed on you by your own government. You wouldn't know about this stuff if they didn't make it known to you. Why? For what? They have a responsibility as a government system, a responsibility as media, to not put out something that's basically going to cause division amongst the people.